and stressed and worrying. Don't worry, okay? We're just recombobulating right now. What kind of pain did Combs put you through? Prosecutor Emily Johnson asked Cassie Ventura. I think more than anything, personal shame and having to carry the things that were shameful to him, Ventura replied through tears. The balcony. Okay, this I do believe. Oh, hang on. Cassie Ventura testified that she witnessed a chilling encounter where one of her friends was physically assaulted by Combs in Ellie apartment. The accuser is Brianna Bana. Whoa. Brianna Banana. But we're just going to say Brianna. We're just going to go Brianna, who alleged in her November 2024 SEX Battery lawsuit against Combs that he dangled her off a 17th-story balcony and then slammed her into a patio furniture on the balcony. That is proper, like, James Bond evil villain stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Balcony dangling. That is psychopath. According to Brianna's complaint, Ventura, Brianna, and Brianna's then girlfriend were sleeping in Ventura's apartment when Combs began shouting and banging the apartment door. Brianna told her girlfriend to hide in the guest bathroom before Combs entered and advanced towards Brianna. He accused her of doing something. Brianna did not know then and does not know now what Mr. Combs believes she did. The complaint said Combs had denied all accusations and dozens of essay lawsuits filed against him. Cassie Ventura revealed on the stand that she accepted a $20 million settlement of a payment from Shaun Combs a day after filing her explosive 2023 lawsuit accusing him of essay. She said she was also in talks to write a book about her experience when he had paid her. I wanted to be compensated for my time and the pain and many, many years of having to try and fix my life, Ventura told court. She's heard her litigation against Combs is over and that she is testifying against him to do the right thing. Cassie Ventura revealed, oh wait, no, my brain is all over the place today. I can't carry the shame and guilt, Ventura said. Nothing that she took part in hiring escorts for some freak-off parties where they say she was aid. I was guided to treat people like they were disposable. Damn. Direct examination of Cameron have ended. Cross-examination is going to begin. The judge decided to start tomorrow. Okay. Right. So now we're here. So we're going to get caught up with today's stuff. And then I'll bring on my awesome panel. Shaun Diddy Combs trial in New York City has one. Okay, right, okay. Line is shorter the past day. Cups of coffee, regular trials. Okay. Shaun Combs has arrived from lockup and is in the courtroom, his usual seat in the defense bench. He's in deep conversation with his lawyers wearing a typical trial uniform of a sweater, honey-colored it seems, and a white-collared shirt. Honey-colored. Really interesting. We would say honey was yellow, right? Right. So when we look at the psychological effects of yellow on people, it's like it gives you like a positive sense, right? It's weird. Colors and all of that is an interesting one. A soft orange. Right, hang on a second. Anyway, you get my point. You guys can look that all up yourself. But yeah, it's tactful. Someone's running. Okay, right. All right. The fight between defense lawyers and prosecutors is quite different than during the jury selection when both Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey and Shaun Combs' lead counsel Mark Agnifilio emphasized their congenial relationship to the judge. When The jury was out for the courtroom on Wednesday. The two sides got into heated debates about the evidence sharing. Prosecutors say they have not received the defense's proposed evidence or exhibits in a timely or fair manner, and how star witness Cassie Ventura will be cross-examined. After the jury was dismissed for the day, Wednesday afternoon, there was prolonged discussions about whether certain texts between Ventura and Combs could be brought forward today, specifically an exchange in which Combs asked Ventura whether he was effing anybody. The court has stated that with the defense and prosecution picking up where they left off on Wednesday afternoon, discussing whether certain text messages can be submitted into evidence when Cassie Ventura is cross-examined later today, prosecutors argue that the messages can be shown to Ventura to jog her memory, but they don't want the text put into evidence for the jury to view. Combs' defense has been quite adamant that they want the jury to see these messages because they speak to the jealousy and infidelity that is at the heart of this case. Oh, spicy. Defense and prosecution lawyers are locking horns over... Defense prosecutions are locking horns over what is known as the R-Shield law, a rule that dictates which evidence concerning an alleged victim's S behavior, in this case, Cassie Ventura, can be admitted when it's considering S misconduct in this case. It's so messed up how our cases are handled. Like, what's your S history got to do with whether or not you've been hard or not? What if you've been the most promiscuous, consensual individual ever, and then you get hard? I don't understand how the two are relevant. I just don't understand. The defense argues that text messages it wants to share about whether Ventura slept with people other than Combs are important to show the defendant's state of mind. While the lawyers' debate has focused on one specific set of messages, the defense wants to introduce similar text conversations throughout its cross-examination and perhaps over the course of the trial. Right, let's just check and see if there's any more. Cassie Ventura is... Hang on. Oh, yep. Cassie Ventura is back on the witness stand and cross-examination is about to start. She's wearing a tuxedo-style jacket and a light blouse, her hair tied back into a ponytail. I'm telling you, we have nailed that timing today. Nailed it. Right, so let me just see what is going on the Discord. I also need to order a coffee. If anyone would like to buy me a coffee, there's a link for my PayPal in the description. Feel free to do so. Stacey is in the waiting room. How are we doing, Stacey? How are you today?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very, very well. So a lot has happened since we left yesterday. A lot of horrible,
juicy,
horribleness,
disturbing updates. Yeah. Well, the juicy part is that there's a new victim that has filed a lawsuit overnight.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about that one.
I have not. Take us through it.
So there's a woman that is now suing Diddy for essentially some similar things that we see with Cassie. And she, is claiming that he forced himself on her.
Okay.
And she was relieved when she saw the size of his tool.
His tool, okay.
And she tried to fight him off and get away from him, but he restrained her.
Okay.
And as soon as it was over, she cleaned herself up and ran out the door. This just in overnight. And as well, yesterday there was mention about Suge Knight.
Yeah.
And Suge Knight had a conversation with News Nation, which was the same news channel that interviewed John Oddie, who is the S worker that is incarcerated that we think is going to be on the witness stand.
Oh, wow.
Suge Knight had a conversation with them last night, and because his name was mentioned during Cassie's testimony, and Suge Knight said he was aware that Diddy was trying to come after him that night. However, Diddy didn't show up, or else things would have ended very badly.
Wow.
Not for Suge Knight, but for Diddy. So he basically confirmed what Cassie said during court. So yeah, I would be, I don't think that the feds can bring in Suge Knight all of a sudden. But, they could if they wanted to, I think they really need to focus on, instead of it being, there's a lot of riffraff that went on, right? But I think the strategy is for them to focus on what is going to get them the conviction of the trafficking and the RICO and all that,
100%.
The trafficking.
Yeah, they've got to focus on the end game. Pam has joined us as well on the Discord panel. How are you, Pam?
I'm okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Morning.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, carry on. I was just listening to what Stacey was saying to you.
Well, look, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out to people, everybody.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Law and Crime have uploaded an AI-generated version of the opening statements, and it's really well done. So I'm going to play a little bit of that, and honestly, if you haven't seen the opening statements or anything
with him in front of male escorts, the defendant insisted that the sex occur in a very specific, highly orchestrated way. These sexual performances lasted multiple days and involved multiple escorts. The defendant called these encounters by different names.
This is awesome, by the way, right? I just want to say, so go and check that out. It's a good half an hour long, but hopefully this is a glimpse into what's going to be rolling out over future cases like this that are behind closed doors that don't get media coverage, where we're going to see the AI transcripts and be able to sort of have that visual engagement. I'm excited for it. I really am. So go and check that out on the Law and Crime YouTube. Now, not much going on outside the building as of yet. Today, the updates are coming in pretty rapid. So
they're going to cross-examine her. This is going to be an interesting day because you don't know how the defense is going to approach Cassie, because if they go at her too aggressively, the jurors are going to be like, why are you picking on a pregnant woman? She's already been through enough, but now she's, ready to pop with this third child. So they have to really be strategic on how they approach their cross-examination. Because if it's too much, it'll really ruin their whole defense. And I know we can all expect that they're going to try to attack her character, try to attack the consent of things. So it'll be interesting to see how Cassie is prepared to deflect that. She did say numerous times yesterday that she told Diddy that she didn't want to do it, and she kept trying to get away, and he kept trying to come back after her and got abusive with her, whenever she would try to stop it. It'll be interesting to see how they address that.
Yeah.
Also, I think, Ron, also, like the small bit that you just read out with regards to, obviously he had AR'd her, and then the following time she had consensual.
Yep.
So they're going to have
the trauma thing.
But I think, obviously it is trauma, but what I'm thinking is they're still going to say, well, how do we know that, all the other times you didn't, like one, you can basically say, oh, well, he did this, but then the following time it was okay because I was still in love with the guy, and you can't just shake that off after 10 years, which, it is true. When you're with somebody that is so long, there's still going to be a part of her.
Yeah.
But I think that they will definitely zone in on that part more.
I think they will
and
too.
The fact that she did, especially after, there are sexual. Why does somebody have to come to my door when I'm up? Sorry.
That's right.
can you just give me a second?
Yeah, no problem, Pam. Just mute your mic for us. I'm just going through the live tweets that are coming out.
Yeah. So, I can't wait for the feds to bring in their doctors who are going to talk about the psychological part of all this, that'll help justify Cassie going back that one time after just
to be clear, when we say they're going to go to town on her for that, we're not agreeing with them. We're just, from a legal point of view, they're going to weaponize that against her 100%. So Inner City Press has been doing his thing. Let's just see what he has been tweeting here. Miss Ventura, you loved Mr. Combs, correct? I did. For 11 years, you took care of him. In some ways, you called him larger than life. I did. Others called him Diddy or Puff Daddy, but you called him Shaun, right? Yes. You knew a version of him the rest of the world couldn't see, right? Objection. Overruled. In ways. You kept coming back to him for 11 years. I wouldn't say coming back. You believed he loved you too. I did believe he loved me too. So when he cheated on you, it hurt. Not every time. All right. Man, like, it's like I say, it's going to amp up now. Once they're done with Cassie and she's able to go and just have her baby, things are going to really amp up because they've dragged this out. You know that they've wanted like neat endings to each day.
You know what's crazy is as much attorneys as he's got on his team, and the reputation that they have is, strong. But I have a feeling they're not going to be able to wiggle their way around this. They can try to weaponize her and, but at the end of the day, most people in the public, let alone lawyers and anyone in that courtroom knows that when people are being abused, it takes the average is 9 times for them to try to leave before they're successful.
Yeah.
And not only that, but there is a thing called trauma bonding.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of psychological components to this that they're not going to be able to avoid.
Do you know what's really interesting is the jury. It's 2025, right? And we're kind of better educated as a race and as a public now on a lot of these things. So I think we've got where we're at in the world on our side, because I think a lot of the jury will understand that there is definitely a difference between being hard and giving consent, and also the things you spoke of, the trauma bonding, the attachment, all of these things. But before we go any further, Uber, how are you?
Hello, mate. How are we all?
We're all right, mate. How are you feeling today? How are you doing?
I'm great, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I was all right yesterday. It was just some pains that would cause me a little bit of concern, but they weren't too concerned about it, so I wasn't at the end.
Right, nice.
Worry about it.
That's right. Better to be overcautious when it comes to these things, for sure.
Suppose, especially when you're on blood thinners and you got bloody blood clot in your lung and all sorts. Probably best is.
It's not good. But look,
I just had visions of them pulling up with blues and twos and just ruining the whole life. That's what I'm doing.
Well, look. Before we continue, if you guys can give me some likes, some shares, I would really, really appreciate it. And I do apologize. My camera is off for the majority of today because my eye isn't sore. It's just, it feels thick today and the light is really bothering it. Are you guys okay if I go on Discord? Yeah, Pam, you're on Discord.
I might just ask the others.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If it was okay if I left them for a bit.
Yeah, no, you're all right. Don't worry. Everyone's.
No, it's not. We don't like to be abandoned.
You're on the call.
You can't leave us this way.
No, you can't. No,
I'm not abandoning you. I'm abandoning the others.
Even Lady Cat was confused. She's like, "You're on the call, right?"
I know I am. I know I am.
It's too funny. It's too funny. Right. Okay. It's one of those don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness scenarios, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we can get rid of this page and we'll go and check and see where we're
Forgiveness is always easier to ask for than permission. And
okay, there is Finn Alex Finn, Cassie Ventura's husband.
It was interesting. He left the courtroom yesterday when she started talking about essentially everything that transpired once she met him, between the meeting that she had with Diddy where they went to dinner and he, attacked her afterwards. And then that one time that they, had relations where she was voluntarily involved in that, her husband left before she spoke about that. So she probably forewarned him, hey, listen, he probably already knows this, but, to hear it in a public setting would probably be too consuming for a husband, Yeah.
No, for sure. Dee, I'm going to bring you in just a minute or two. I'm just going to give you a chance to prepare yourself. And if you've got your telly on or anything like that, to turn that down. And I'll get you in just a minute. Now,
Ron, can I just say, they did actually say that he couldn't, there was only some parts that he could actually be in the court, and then other parts that he wasn't able to because, Diddy didn't want him to be.
I don't know if it would be. I don't know if it would be Diddy.
All if he had his way, but
I don't get. I don't get that he's allowed to come into some of it, and got to be why. Why is?
Well, there's two sides to that. I think one, he probably didn't want to hear that, but two, there's also talks of Diddy's defense team wanting to call him onto the witness stand.
Oh yeah,
so they haven't firmed that up as to whether he's actually going to be called to the witness stand.
If he is, he must be treated as a hostile witness, surely.
Well, yeah, because that's a conflict of interest. Your wife is a victim; she's on the prosecutor side as a witness, and you're going to take him as a witness on the defense's side.
Yeah.
I don't know if the judge can entertain that, but they haven't announced whether or not it's he is or he is.
But he was actually their personal trainer, wasn't he? He was her personal trainer.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was Diddy's personal trainer, but so it could well be because he was kind of what's the word? They kind of knew each other anyway. Because he was the personal trainer, and it could, you could be right. They might still have him up. The reason
why the defense team wants to try to bring him on the witness stand is because when Cassie was, pretty newly in the relationship with him, Diddy was saying, I want a refund for the money I paid this guy, which, Ron talked about briefly before. But Cassie's husband was sending threatening messages to Diddy. And so that's what the defense is going to want to address. Now, is it going to be something viable for the defense to even talk about? I mean, I don't understand the strategy because, he's sticking up for his woman,
right?
And trying to
can I just say, because that's just like anybody's husband's going to do that. Right. I think if they find that what's happened to their wife, how she's been treated,
doesn't make
everything.
it legal.
So
doesn't make it legal.
Him first.
It doesn't make it. If you're someone's wife and you then threaten somebody who's R-worded her, it's the right thing to do. But is it legal? Is it going to be the best thing in a legal scenario? Probably not.
No,
he didn't make any life-threatening threats in those text messages.
Okay, well,
so that would be a different scenario.
Which is why he's not in jail then.
Right.
Ross has just said Kanye West is an arsicle. I read today that people are starting to assume that Kanye West has been building up to an insanity plea so that he can't be dragged into any court cases, which would kind of explain a lot of the things that's been going on with him.
I believe it.
I think I read something like Diddy was going to do that as well.
He did try that tactic, and he also tried the race card. I mean, not for nothing, but for one, there's people of all different races that are involved in this trial.
Yeah.
And two, Epstein was white, Weinstein was white, you know, this isn't about black or white. This is about what is wrong and illegal and needs to be persecuted in federal court.
Yeah.
The question I have, just you know, off the subject slightly, but my question is, how is it that as a community, as a species, as a society, what went so badly wrong that us as a species now are looking at that behavior being normalized?
Well, I mean, it's not.
To get accepted, it's now normalized. How far bad have we gone to allow that?
Nah,
That's what I want to know.
nah,
I think it's just become more public now.
It's not.
You know,
No, things have gotten way
It's
better
still
than they were,
normalised, that's the
man.
thing. People are watching this and thinking it's normal.
Listen.
As a society, it's our responsibility to educate our kids and say this isn't normal behaviour. It's still going on.
Listen.
Yeah.
We used to gather in hordes to watch men and women chop each other up for fun in arenas.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, we've come a long way, people. Okay, it's just you've got to remember.
So why have we
to,
still got these reprobates behaving like this?
well, because it's
on all of us.
It's a long time to
in my
change
opinion.
society, you know.
It's been here for centuries.
Because, like,
It's been here for centuries. Okay,
I know
it's not a new thing.
Aristocracy's like seeped in that.
We've
sort of
not
stuff.
gotten worse. It's just our ability to dial in on it has gotten way faster. Okay,
yeah, but
trust
one
me.
day you think
No,
that,
I didn't say we're getting worse. I said how badly out of the way wrong have we gone
Well, that's kind of what
as
you're
a
saying.
society, as a species, to allow this to happen.
No one's allowed it to happen.
Still see it as normal behaviour.
I don't think anyone's allowed it to happen. I mean, the people that are like-minded have allowed it to happen, and that's the
Right.
evil,
Yeah,
right?
what I mean is people have looked on and they've thought this behaviour is just everyday normal behaviour.